Good morning, dear children. Myself, L.K. Tripathi from LPM Public School as your assistant teacher. Dear children, as we have been discussing history for last 2 days and different videos we have watched related to this chapter, we have new video of the same chapter of history with a new topic, that is relationship with the Mughals. So many things we have seen in the last videos about the relationship, different relationship of Shungas, Kushanas, the Satavahanas, and Ahoms. So many dynasties and clans established their prominence in the different territories of the country. What type of relationship was there with the Mughals after Rudradhyanga? He was the Ahom kings. The relationship between the Ahoms and Mughals was always hostile, as the latter repeatedly attacked the former. The Mughals desired to conquer and establish their control over Assam, but were unable to capture the kingdom. In 1662 Christian era, the Mughal under Mir Jumla, Aurangzeb's general, attacked the Ahom kingdom, defeated them, and acquired immense riches comprising gold and silver coins, rice, gunpowder, guns, shields, and ships. However, the Mughal control over the region did not last long. Due to heavy rainfall in the region, an epidemic broke out in the Mughal camp, which enabled the Ahoms to regain power. At the Battle of Sarai Ghat, the Mughals were defeated by the Ahoms. Later, the kingdom of Ahoms came under the control of the British in the 19th century. Economy: wheat rice cultivation was introduced by the Ahoms in Upper Assam. A combination of superior rice cultivation technology and a system of irrigation, along with reclamation of land using dikes and embankment, helped the homes to establish the initial state structures. During the 16th century, coins were introduced in the home kingdom, and the kings also adopted the Mughal system of land measurement. Society: what type of social structure was there? The Ahom society was divided into 7 main clans known as Satgadhiya Ahoms, comprising the royal family, the nobility, as well as the 4 priestly groups, while the remaining people came under the pike system. The nobility and the priests were exempt from paying taxes to the monarch. One of the greatest combinations of the homes was the custom of compiling chronicles, which were first written in the home language and subsequently in both Assamese and Ahom. All the political transactions were recorded in the chronicles or Burangish and were mostly compiled under officials. Lexicons from Assamese to Ahom and vice versa were also compiled during this period. Many Sanskrit words were also translated into local languages. The homes also encouraged theatre. The homes left a deep and indelible imprint on the Assamese society during the 6 centuries of their rule. Caste versus tribe. The Varna system, with its 4 main castes, continued to be the backbone of medieval Indian society. The Brahmins commanded great respect in northern and southern Indian society. They were granted tax-free lands called Brahmadaya or Agarhara by many rulers during the medieval period. The kings expected the Brahmins to legitimize their rule in return. Many social groups claimed legendary Kshatriya status and monopolized political power through warfare. The exact status of merchants and traders is not easy to know. While they enjoyed economic power, their caste and social status varied from region to region. However, it must be noted that the disabilities of the lower caste increased substantially. Out of the 4 original Varnas, many new castes sprang up. The caste system also became rigid and the idea of untouchability increased. The tribal and nomadic communities who did not adhere to the Varna system at times came into conflict with caste-based societies. Sometimes clashes occurred when tribes tried to retain their freedom and separate culture. But in many cases, the relationship between the two was symbolic. Each depended on the other for the fulfillment of certain needs, especially economic needs. Tribal customs and rituals were absorbed into the Hindu religious traditions. For instance, some tribal gods and goddesses were incorporated into the Hindu pantheon. Again, caste-based societies caused tribal societies to change in a variety of ways. Many tribes adopted the caste system and political formations prevalent in settled agricultural societies. They were accommodated as jatis within the overarching Varna hierarchy. Tribes claimed Rajput status while the majority joined the ranks of the lower jatis. Some tribes of Punjab, Sindh, and northwest frontier region adopted Islam and rejected the caste system. Today, the Constitution of India refers to the tribal and ethnic groups as scheduled tribes. They are recognized as historically disadvantaged groups who were also known as the depressed classes by the British. The founding fathers of our constitution understood the importance of these Adivasi groups to Indian society. Thus, they took measures such as reservations in jobs and educational institutions, scholarships, etc., to protect the rights of these groups and integrate them into the modern Indian society. That's all. Next we shall discuss in the next video. Till then, thank you.